come on, while we're young. Another day, another set of irradiated passengers. Excellent.
So happy to be on the road with the driving, the steering, and the cell phone-related mishaps.
Welcome back to the Simpsons Road Rage, and this is my favorite level, and we're also in my favorite car. Frank's car doesn't have to worry about traction, because it's a hover car. It's also the fastest car, and it turns the best. It also reaches top speed way faster than any of the other cars too, so there's really no reason not to use this one. It's good at virtually everything, and the fins on the side of the car help keep things out of the way. There's no downsides, really. And if you're determined to grind on a single level or use an exploit in order to get the $1 million, this is the car you would do it with. Maybe this should have been a more special car because all of the others are useless in comparison. But whatever. The hilarious superiority of Frank's car is really a minor issue in a game full of issues. The only thing that makes this game worthwhile is that it's just plain fun to play. The basic Crazy Taxi style gameplay is all intact, and the level designs are actually pretty good. And I do believe that the developer had good intentions from what I know about them and what I've read about this game. But anyway, onto the level itself. Downtown is my favorite level. There's no buts about it, it's just my favorite. It's the largest map, and there's so many different people to pick up and so many locations to drive to, that it doesn't get old. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to get stuck in a loop like you would in the other levels, or at least some of the other levels. Particularly the Springfield Dam. And far and away my favorite thing about this level's design is that all of the roads are optional. Really, you could just fuck the roads entirely, you don't need them. They're never the fastest way to get to your destination, and there are way too many shortcuts to count. And the other levels, I could point out the shortcuts to you because they were notable. They were deviations from the normal design, and they got you to your destination faster, and there were so few of them. And this one, there are shortcuts everywhere. You can cut across every street through some alternate method, and there are so many things you can drive through in this level that would have been solid in the other levels. There are still invisible walls, though. Really, this location is just a huge mess, and that's awesome. You can play through this level many, many, many times, and each time you'll still find something new. You'll find a better way to get to a certain destination. You'll find out you could drive through that fence that you didn't think you could. You'll find out that giant field of grass between you and your destination is something you can actually drive through and it's not out of bounds. It also has the most sight gags of any of the stages. Granted, all the sight gags are in the form of signs, but it's a driving game, so what else would you expect? I'm not sure it's possible for me to reasonably show off everything interesting about this level, so you're just going to have to take my word for most of this. But I'm sure you can certainly see the difference in design already. Now this is the 5th unlockable location. We're doing them all in order because that's the best way to go about it. But this really should have been the last location, I think, because it's the most fun and the most like Crazy Taxi. Now it's easy to just ask for more and more levels like this one, because, as I said, this is the level that has it all. But I prefer that each level has its own gimmicks and design to it. Because as much fun as I'm having playing this one, if all the levels didn't have their own unique quirks, I wouldn't be playing the game for you at all.
Take me to the police station. My daddy has all the guns.
Alright then.
I mean, maybe I could play this if it were more like Crazy Taxi all the way through, but then I would just murder you with Simpsons trivia, instead of talking about the level design. Did you know that there's a programming language named after Professor Frank here? Because I do for some reason. Oh yeah, I didn't really mention it, but you also notice that NPC cars are not shit to the hover car. They just bounce right off us. Fuck them. You will bow before my masterpiece, you peons. I mean, it may have a couple design flaws, like for some reason the thrusters fire when it's in reverse, even though the thrusters are pointing in a way that would make it move forward. So it does break the laws of physics, but that's a minor issue. I think we're back near the start of the level, but I'm honestly not completely sure. I think so, though. Oh my god, what did I do that for? Maybe I was trying to show you that the hover car is capable of complete 90-degree turns, which it is, but it probably wasn't the most useful right there.
The failure, the crying and the blaming and the calls to mommy.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. I'm Too Good to Ride the Bus. I hope you asphyxiate on your exhaust fumes and die a horrible death.
Hey! Now let's get out of here.
This is more or less just another version of the very first mission. This time the objects we need to hit are spread further apart, and sometimes there are split pathways, so we need to figure out which one actually has the signs on it. And those two things alone will probably make you retry this level a few times, but it's relatively easy to memorize all the signs when you get used to it. The backstory for this mission is that Krusty needs to destroy all the signs that lead to his house because tourists keep following them and bothering him. And I mean, part of the design for this mission is that it's really hard to tell which direction the signs are pointing you, so they don't seem very useful for their intended purpose. I think this is the point in The Simpsons where Krusty's entire character had boiled down to him just being Jewish. I think we're at that point in The Simpsons, right? Mr. Burns, I'm trying to talk. I'm sure these people are very interested in my criticism of The Simpsons this late into the LP.
We'll meet again, my friend. Oh, we'll meet again.
Hey, welcome to the multiplayer again, and this time it's Ned and Snake. Snake's car is a lot like Apu's car. It goes faster, but it handles turns very well. And that's really all there is to say about it. It's just a better version of Apu's car as far as I can tell. It's fun to drive with, though. Ned's car, on the other hand, doesn't have very good acceleration, doesn't have very good high speed. It is, at the very least, better at pushing cars out of the way than Marge's van, but that's really the only thing it has going for it. Otherwise, the comparison is very apparent.